Hey there, friends, family, followers. Your geeky girlfriend here. This video today is not suitable for young readers. This is an adult-only review. I repeat, this is an adult-only review for multiple reasons. Explicit sexual content, explicit language, and references to drinking, drugs, and all things involved in BDSM. You can probably guess which book we're reading today and which book we're reviewing today. And that would be 50 Shades Freed, the culmination of the 50 Shades of Grey series. I have read the other two books. I don't own them. I borrowed them from a friend. I would honestly say, despite everyone else's opinion, I actually really enjoyed the first one, 50 Shades of Grey. It was the quickest read for me. With the explicit sexual content, it does read very quickly because there's really not a whole lot that goes on in the story otherwise. If you're familiar with the movies, familiar with the series at all, the story follows Anastasia Steele, she becomes Grey. Anastasia Steele, who meets a dominant and becomes his submissive in the first book. And so the book written by E.L. James, the whole series is written by E.L. James. The whole series follows their relationship. In the first one, Christian is the male dominant character, and he tries very hard to keep it a just dominant submissive relationship. He tries to not develop any feelings. However, she pushes him to develop an actual relationship. They end up getting engaged in the second book, and then they end up getting married in the third book. This one, they get married, they have their honeymoon, she gets pregnant. Spoiler alert. But this one is the final book of the series, and this one follows up on the story of Jack Hyde, who was Anna's boss in the second book, who sexually assaults her, and he kind of takes that another step further in this one. This movie is actually really good. They did a really good job adapting this book to film. It is the best film adaptation of the three. However, I would still say the first book is my favorite, even though the movie is quite literally trash. But the actors get to know each other a little bit better, and the movies get better with time. But this book, here's the back. It is a national bestseller. It's the culmination of the series. Anna and Christian really just take their relationship to the next level, and they get married, they go on their honeymoon, and that's pretty much it. I don't really have much to say. I can't really say any more than that. There is this suspense with Jack Hyde. And, this on the back, it says they have it all: love, passion, intimacy, wealth, world of possibilities. They start building their house. And that's really all I can say about this one without giving too much away. I did already give a couple spoilers already. The ending of the book is really good. Like, I think this, and if you've seen the movie, the series kind of wraps up in this nice little bow, or as an allude to Christian, a nice little necktie. Like, she really tied it up nicely. You see what I did there? These books are definitely not suitable for young readers. There is explicit sexual references, explicit sexual language, references to toys, bondage, flogging, everything. Like, no holds barred in this book or these series. Obviously, there's handcuffs on the front, so you kind of know what you're getting into when you pick it up. Definitely mature audiences only. The language, again, is not great. It's used appropriately, I guess, is a positive, but it's definitely not suitable for young readers unless you're okay with your high schooler. I know some friends who read these in high school, and it was fine, but they are definitely not suitable for young readers. This is definitely adults only. Overall, for this book, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I read it to read it and to say I read the whole series and to say that I've watched all the movies and read all the books. That was really the only reason I read it. After the second one, I didn't really want to read this one. The second one was the slowest. And most people have the opposite opinion of myself, and that's totally fine. I liked the first one the best, like I said. I did see the movie before I read the book, so I kind of knew what to expect. The book is the most explicit of all of them in terms of sexual content. But because of that, it reads really quickly because you know what you're reading. And if you're not totally into that, you can kind of just skim or like thumb through, which honestly I did in some parts of these books. Like if I kind of knew what was happening, I was like, I'm just going to skip through to the actual story or just keep moving on. And so this was a series that I kind of sort of like, I didn't fully like read it. I skimmed it. I'm a fast reader anyway, but I wasn't, there were some parts that I definitely was like, okay, I can just kind of skip through these pages. And you don't miss anything of the story. So I was the opposite of most. Most people say that this one is their favorite because it's more of the love story, less of the sex. But the first one was a faster read for me. And the second one was the slowest read. So just kind of keep that in mind. The second one was definitely my least favorite. This one comes in a close second. The story is really good. And like I said, the film to book adaptation of this one was good. So not suitable for young readers. 50 Shades Freed. I completed the series. I would give it a 6 out of 10 for this one. The first book, probably give it a 7 out of 10. And the second book, a 5 out of 10. They're okay. Like I said, I read this one to say that I read the whole series. That was pretty much the only reason why I read it. I was recommended to read this book because my mom and sister had read both of them. They're like, oh, you got to read the last one. It's the best one. And it was better than the second one. I'll give it that. But again, I read it to complete the series. So each their own. Some people love them. And I know that Gray is now out. That's the story from his perspective. And so those are out now. And the first one is out and it's this whole story from his perspective. So I might be interested in reading that maybe because as the books went on, number 2 and number 3 especially, we got more of a backstory on Christian and why he was the way that he was. So it might be interesting to see the book from his perspective instead of Anna, however you prefer to say her name when you read. I call her Anna for Anastasia, but that's the reader's choice. So it might be interesting to read it from his perspective. I've got some friends reading that one now, and maybe I'll get recommended that one. And I would pick it up and try it. So overall, not the best book I've read, not the worst. So just kind of a meh. If you like it, good for you. If not, I understand. So if you're interested, I would recommend, if you've seen the movies, read the books. If you haven't seen the movies but read the books, I would recommend this movie because they actually did a good job in adapting it. So do with that what you will. And if there's any books that you would like me to read, drop them in the comments. Hit subscribe. We're going to have video and movie reviews on here as well as fashion advice. So check it out. Subscribe. Drop those reads in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video. XOXO.